Here we go, getting into Edna. Got some pretty good view. I got honey on my fingers, they're sticky. Population looks decent here in the cluster. If I remember right, it was either Edna or Marbar. I think it was Edna. When we last inspected a couple weeks ago, they were acting real odd with the queen. They kind of were being a little aggressive with her, and they had a queen cell, a supersedure queen cell, built and on the comb. So because they were kind of being aggressive with the queen and her laying pattern was left a little to be desired, and they had built a queen cell, we left the queen cell because we weren't quite sure what was going on here. So that first frame had some honey on one side, mostly drawn comb on the other. A little bit of drawn there, that's undrawn pretty much on that side. Mostly drawn, drawn but mostly empty, I guess I should say. This looks like a honey frame. Yep. Haven't even smoked these grills yet. They're behaving pretty good. And I'm seeing some of that red pollen on here. Some nectar and multicolored pollen. And this side's mostly drawn with just a couple spots of capped honey. So it's good that it's got pollen on that side. Here we're starting to get into where they're much more population dense. Alright, this is a brood frame. We got resources out here on the edge. See some larvae in here. There's larvae in these areas that aren't capped yet. Most of those empty cells have larvae in them. It's laid up pretty much all the way out to where the resources are on the edge. Nectar and pollen on the edge. Got quite a bit of pollen pretty far in here. Here, right around here, we're starting with larvae. A little bit of cap brood here in the middle, probably real close to emerging. I see one starting to work on chewing her way out. But backfilled, there's larvae. She's laid it pretty much to the bottom frame. And pollen starts about there. So that's pretty good brood frame. So I think she turned it around or something, because, well, it's been about 2 weeks. It's so early in the season, I don't think a virgin queen would do very well going out and mating. I haven't seen any drones yet today in the hives we've inspected. This is the third hive. So I think the chances of an early season queen like that getting mated and being back and laying these frames up is low probability. So some cap brood here, but mostly everything that's uncapped either has eggs or larvae in it. Somebody's piping. I wonder if you could hear that on the video. Oh, there's the marked queen. So she's right there. Hopefully you can see the blue dot on her. So that's the queen from last year. So that's a let's see, this is Edna. So she is the original queen from the nuke. So she came from Nature Image Farm. So she's a 2025 queen. Like I said, when we were in here a couple weeks ago, kind of doing the first spring inspection, they were being real aggressive to her. She hadn't laid much, and there was a supersedure cell. So I'm glad to see her in here and to see the brood we got going on here. Did I already check this side? Larvae. Got workers emerging right now. Yep, pretty good. So all this brood up here in the top box, I bet the bottom, I think she's buried right under here. Yep. Saw her booty. I bet the bottom is gonna be pretty sparse. So the next frame's got pretty good population on it. I bet it's got brood on it too. If the bottom box ends up being pretty empty, we might do a reversal. Switch the boxes up. Alright, so there's a little bit of nectar, a little bit of pollen, lots of open cells. We've got a couple capped brood cells here. We've got larvae, uncapped larvae, well, obviously. And now we're back into some resources. So there's a little bit of brood on that side. It's a real small pattern. And this is looking like resources. There's some resources, but there's also a lot of empty cells. So that's all right. These last two, they're probably either be carryover resources. So there's some capped honey from last season. And this is pretty much empty drawn comb, but they might be working on pulling this a little bit more here. See some pretty white looking wax up here. This is good. And the last frame is honey. So what did I pull out here? I've got mostly drawn on one side frame. If they picked the wax off of this or not. There's nothing in that. So I'm probably going to swap that out and maybe re-wax the side that's empty. And then this has an empty side, like undrawn. And then this side is capped honey. Get her an empty medium. Giving her empty drawn comb here, close to the middle. If they clean it up a little bit, she should be able to lay in it. Center it up. Right, pull this off from the front and check the beep. Still working pollen. Let's scrape that up. So early in the season, I don't expect any hive beetle larvae, but it's worth checking. Clear and clear so far, and then they haven't hardly touched this one, which again, I don't think they're doing much down here in this box currently, based on what we just saw in the medium. Slowly working on that fondant, but haven't done much with it. Alright, this probably gonna be pretty quick. I don't see very many bees down here. And we didn't see that queen cell up top, so they must have tore it down on their own. That or I missed it. A little bit of pollen there, but mostly open. Not quite fully drawn, but would be a good cell to brood out, or a good frame to brood out. Yeah, old brood frame, not fully drawn. It's pretty much empty. Wish I had a little bit of wax. I'd put some wax on the bottom there to help encourage them to finish it. Old brood frame, empty through and through. So that's three empty brood or deep frames that used to be brood. Here's the sensor frame, empty, not quite fully drawn. Empty, not quite fully drawn. get her down here in this bottom. She has so much room to lay. Empty. Empty. Pretty much empty. Tiny bit of capped honey, barely. Not quite drawn out. A little bit of capped honey. A little bit of capped honey on the sides. Empty cells in the middle. Empty on the side. Just a little bit of capped honey there, and empty on this side. So that is an empty deep that we need to get her moved down into. So we're going to do a reversal here. We're going to switch the boxes. The deep's going to go on top, and the medium is going to go on the bottom. And the intent there is that all the heat from all those bees on that brood rises up through here, and as that brood starts to emerge and their population increases, because this will all be heated from below, the queen should be more open to starting to lay up here. So she has a ton of room to brood it up. So we center these up, and then we'll reverse, flip the boxes, and then I'm gonna put her pollen back on, and she has like a quarter of a fondant patty left. So resource-wise, she's in pretty good shape. We just need her to start brooding up the big box.